Welcome to Policy and Profit, the podcast for ambitious insurance agents and agency owners who want to build predictable, profitable businesses without chasing bad leads or begging for referrals. And let me just be brutally honest for a second. Most agency owners aren't building a team, they're babysitting one. They spend their days chasing flaky prospects, repeating the same recruiting pitch 5 times a week like a parrot, only to have no-shows, ghosters, and broke dreamers drain their time and siphon their energy. And worst of all, their personal production suffers and they start resenting the team that they tried so hard to build. And if that's you, you're not lazy, you're just trying to scale using effort rather than systems. So I built the Autopilot Recruiter, a done for you system that helps you attract qualified agents, pre-sell them with your story, and get them onboarded all without doing another live Zoom, sales pitch, or three-way call ever again. It's the same system top recruiters are using to grow their downlines by the hundreds without sacrificing their commission, their time, or their sanity. If you're ready to build a team that actually grows itself, go to writemorepolicies.com/playbook and download the free playbook today. Today's guest is none other than Justin Brock. You guys have seen him everywhere, and well, he's just a guy who gets lucky. So, with that said, Justin, welcome to the show. Tell me something you believe is the key to succeeding in life insurance sales that most agents completely overlook.
Hmm. The key to succeeding in life insurance sales is understanding that in the beginning, it's not understanding because you don't really understand any of it until you've done it for a while, but it's really just staying consistent through the part of the journey that kind of sucks, right? You know, in the beginning, like a lot of people will tell you when you're selling life insurance that you're going to make, you're going to make 200,000, 250,000. That's what the recruiters, typically say, right? But that's probably for most people a pipe dream, or it's at least gross revenue. And when you're looking at gross revenue as an individual agent minus lead costs or expenses in most traditional models, they're probably coming away with $50,000 or $60,000, something like that. But understanding that that's okay to get a process down and then to either at some point build a team so that you can get off of the hamster wheel yourself, or build a marketing funnel that makes you not chase the traditional type of format life insurance sales that just inevitably come with an X amount of fall off and kind of a tail chasing um, thing, right? So we're in Medicare. We started more on the Medicare side. Thankfully, we have the renewal aspect of it. But in life insurance, I've been telling people lately, you can make $1 billion selling cookies. I was saying bubble gum, but then crumble cookies sold for like $3 billion. I was like, you make $1 billion selling cookies. So life insurance is a great vertical, but the way to get off of the hamster wheel is to build a team. And then when your team wants to get off the hamster wheel, the way that they need to do it is to build a team. So, you have to get to that point. Now, there are certainly people that find honey holes. But when you're out there looking for somebody that's got a honey hole in the life insurance space, they're not going to tell you what their honey hole is unless it's unreplicatable.
Correct.
And so if they're telling you what it is and telling you it's replicatable, both of those things can't be true. It either they're lying to you or they're lying to you. It's either they're lying about it being replicatable or they're lying to you that that's actually what's working for them. I've seen it like in Medicare. There was a guy when I came in and he was talking about telemarketers all the time. Telemarketers. And I'm not knocking telemarketers. Telemarketers can work too. Everything works a little bit. But when you're looking at what he was actually doing, he was YouTube famous. He had all this organic traction on YouTube, but it's unreplicatable. So when you start to sell something to agents and you sell them, oh, go viral on YouTube. Well, that's easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
You can always make progress on YouTube, but there's a difference in making progress and going viral. So anyway, I think that the secret, really is almost being blindly, what do they call it? It's almost like an ignorance is bliss concept, or childlike faith. Like when you talk about kids when they're Christians as children, they have childlike faith. If you just have childlike faith in the process long enough, then you'll learn the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then if you can then take that and then frame it around, okay, what do I do now that I know what's good and what's bad? But if you're just like waiting for a reason to give up,
You'll find it.
you're going to find one. I mean, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. No vertical is.
No, some shit just stays shitty. Every single one of these lines has their problems and their beast. And life insurance is, I call us like the dirty redheaded stepchildren of the industry. We're a little bad over in this side of things, so it's pretty funny. And then the childlike faith, have you read like the Master Key System, things like Charles F. Hannell and Brian Tracy talks about that stuff a lot, Zig
Heard some
Ziglar.
Brian Tracy, but I haven't heard them talk about it in a similar sense. But I would love to read that because I think it I think it actually did me a lot of good to have childlike. So when I came in, my dad was a door to door, belly to belly agent. He was a old school agent, just like what he told me to be. And I completely questioned everything he did, and so but that not at first. At first, like certain things I took as like doctrine, and they weren't things that were doctrine, but it kind of helped me to not question them because I did know from zero. So I did know because he had gotten to where he was making a couple $100,000 a year in insurance. So I was like, okay, he's not an idiot. He knows what he's doing, and he was my dad, so I knew he wasn't just like some fake recruiter. I had seen him go from 25,000, 40,000, 100,000, 150. I saw when we went from trailers and used cars to like him buying like a 1 year old car for the first time, and us going from not being able to afford cable to having cable television. So I saw the climb. So I knew he wasn't full of shit, right? And so when there's certain things he would tell me, I was like, okay, I'm not even questioning that because I don't even know how to question that. And that helped me. Now there were other things that basically anything that I endured on a day-to-day basis that I wanted to get away from, I questioned. So like when it was door to door and I was in houses and I was like, there has got to be a better way than this. I started questioning that. But when he told me this is you fill this contract out, this is what you get paid, I didn't question that. I wasn't comp chasing. Now later on I did but I didn't put the cart before the horse, right? I think when people are always looking for the um, the honey hole right away, or they're looking for the easy way, or the easy way out, then they don't even get to the point of actually understanding the framework of the business, right? I'm glad that I had a little bit of faith in part of the process long enough to really see what the plug and play process is all about.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And at first, I didn't want to when I first came in. Like, I'm listening to what the people are saying. Okay, just smile and dial, buy the leads, whatever, make it work. And it's like, after the first year, it's like I did really good, but only after I started to develop my own lead sources. Like, okay, so what is this business stuff about? It's like, okay, you have to have salesmanship, you have to have some marketing kind of mixed in with that. And when you grow a team and it comes down to leadership, it's really just three or four skills. It has nothing to do with the buying leads. And it was like everyone lied to me. It's like, damn, man. And yeah, that was a
Yeah.
fun place to be in, some emotional turmoil. I got into all the Russell Brunson, Dan Kennedy world. It's like webinars. And when I brought that to the life industry for myself and like the agency owners I'm working with, that changed the entire game. It's like, holy shit. Okay, now I'm
Oh,
onto something. But yeah, go
Russell
check out
Brunson,
the
Dan
master.
Kennedy, those are the goats, man. The Dan Kennedy, he's like the godfather of quality marketing. Basically, I started with Russell and Gary Vaynerchuk,
Yeah.
and eventually on Dan Kennedy through Russell, and Perry Belcher, and that group. And thankfully, I didn't get distracted with the whole stage closing concept, because a lot of guys get into that world and they get distracted with stage closing. Because Russell is big on that. But I always focus on, like, this is a hard thing for some people to do, is how do I take this information and apply it or translate it to
Yep.
what I'm already doing or attempting to do. And most people, like, they watch a guy and they're like, oh, I'm going to go make his business, instead of saying, how do I? He's giving you good information, but he's not telling you to do what he does. He's saying take this information from whatever your vertical is and translate it. And that doesn't mean that he's, like, because there's not always, this is like, now there are people within our space that are talking and teaching and have systems and some sort of evolution. But when I started, there wasn't really
No.
anybody in our space talking about it, so you had to translate it from some more general sense.
Yeah, and I wish that stuff was right around when I first got started because that would have made things so much easier. Knowing how to generate real leads online and stuff like that, not just buying used shit from data aggregators or any of that. So that it got really fancy, I'll say, once you apply all the marketing principles. And then, yeah, go check out the Master Key System by Charles F. Hannell. I think you'll really enjoy that book. It talks a lot about that childlike faith and stuff like that, and imagination, visualization. It's a really fantastic book. And then this ties really well into I know what you're passionate about. So you work hard, you make more money, you get busier than you want to be, and that's where most people stop, right? Then you spend most of your time trying to help people break through that ceiling and recapture their time. Then most of them find other ways to get busy again. So talk to us about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, most people that actually find a way, I mean, Dan Martell talks a lot about buy back your time. That's, he's kind of I would say that's his thing, is buy back your time. But what I find is that most people that figure out how to buy back their time just resell it to the next thing, right? I mean, it's because if you love, a lot of people say if you love the process, you fall in love with the process, then you're not then it becomes easy, right? I don't think that many people do very well in any vertical without falling in love with the process a little bit. And so then when you do fall in love with the process, part of the process is how do I hire people, good people, build a culture that screams, like I want, like the employees actually want to be there, want to fulfill their role. And then of course, now leveraging AI or, even virtual assistants, whatever, there's a bunch of different ways, but building a team and an infrastructure to offload the busy work, the tasks, so that you can fulfill that process, right? And then what happens is if my goal is to build a direct to consumer agency. So for me, it was like direct to consumer agency was the primary goal. Direct to consumer agency is the primary goal. Then I build all the processes to make that where I don't even need to be there anymore. And then eventually I'm just making content. And so then the content attracts agents. So I start to build an FMO. So I built myself out of a process to create another process. Was actually the second one that became the most insanely profitable side, because the first side, the agency, was profitable. And, if I wanted to sit back and make $500,000 a year profit and not work, you could do that with that or more. But then on the FMO side, it became a much higher vertical. It was also a little bit more fulfilling. The process to me was fulfilling with dealing with agents, because solving the beneficiaries problem was there's gratification in that, but the ultimate gratification of taking somebody and being able to help them really, explode their business and be able to, provide for their family more and more was super rewarding. So my biggest, goal now is working with agencies that are, and when I say agencies, it may be an independent agent, or a very small agency that has like a customer service rep and maybe one agent and it's a husband and wife team or something like that. And they are doing well. And maybe they've even attained some level of what they thought their goals were, but now they've just done enough to start realizing, okay, now I realize this is out there and what I thought I wanted isn't exactly what I want. Now they want the next level. And because for me, the next level is always what it's about. It's until maybe one day I'll reach a point where it's like, okay, time to retire and coast. But I mean, I'm 37, so that's not now. But for most of these people, we want to help them get from a base level of success to how do I dig myself out of this profitable prison that I put myself in, right? That's what we talked about at Medicare Con last year. My speech was on the profitable prison of, hey, I'm making $250,000 a year and I have this residual income, but it's heavy service burden. And now I feel it figured out, like you just talked about, my operational lid and my leadership ability is now something that I have to develop and build a team around. And of course, some of that is just understanding how to be a leader, but other parts of it is what's the cheat sheet for how do I pay these people? What are some of the technical aspects of what I can do to free up my time, right? Some of those are processes. Some of it's people. I think it's people and processes. That's what you have to do to like really build yourself out of it.
Yeah, man, when you start seeing guys, leverage is an invisible force outside of like a seesaw. You can literally see that. But man, it's such a beautiful thing getting the tools and the resources and the knowledge to help other people see things inside of themselves that they never believed to be possible. I think it's really beautiful what you're talking about. Uh, I'm not sure if you saw my Facebook. It is I helped an agent with a webinar thing I did for him, and that was end of last year when we started working together. But he texted me sometime a couple weeks ago saying he put $642,000 of commissions in his bank, and it was like fucking awesome job, man. Way to go out there, provide for your family, make an impact on your community, like do badass things. I was just so it's what have you noticed about the people you work best with, just out of curiosity? What types of agency owners are you able to like come in? Because guys, if you have like a Justin Brock, a Dan Kennedy, so to speak, in your business, I'm telling you, it's these people are worth their weight in gold. Uh, so what have you noticed about the people you're able to come in, just make a couple tweaks, tap the hammer on the right spot, and get the engine running again? What have you noticed about that?
Most of them, I think, and there's definitely different aspects of it, but I think when you can get them to really buy in and believe, a lot of them maybe banging their head against the wall and they don't really know where to go. And then when we get them to behind the agency, our workshop, that's typically where the biggest, I would say, conversion of mindset or buy-in happens. And to be honest, like you come to behind the agency, we don't sell anything. All we do is pull the curtain back and talk about things we're doing. And after it's over, a lot of people are like, "Can we just work with you guys?" Because they're like, "We want to do all these things you're talking about, but we just feel like we need a little bit of." A little bit of babysitting or hand holding through some of that process. And that's totally fine because if I did it without the hand holding, and there's a lot of people out there that their personality is, I'll do it without the hand holding. I'll figure it out. I'm a figure it out guy. And I get it. Like I'm a figure it out guy too. But sometimes figuring it out for yourself when there's somebody else is way more expensive. And we don't even like behind the agency we charge for, but when people like join our team, it's just an FMO doing what an FMO is supposed to do anyway.
Yeah.
And now the FMOs that used to exist that just were like contracting warehouses are having to compete with this new wave of people who are like that didn't start out as FMOs, it started out as agencies, and they're like, well, now we built a value proposition for agents based on what we needed and what we had to learn the expensive, hard, long way. I tell a lot of people, they're like, they see our success story in the industry and they say, well, how long have you been doing this? And I say 11 and a half years, but the first 5 years I was just figuring shit out, like, and it's always figuring stuff out, but like you would count like 90% of our growth was in the last 4 or 5 years. It wasn't in that first 5 years. The first 5 years was like it was like untangling a big ball of Christmas lights from the attic. Like, wait, what is this? What is that? And just
Yeah.
pitting people's information against other information, trying things. And we still do some of that, but now it's a more refined, like we know where we want to try. It's a little bit more systematized. Whereas before it was almost wet noodles. We were trying to see what worked all the time.
You're just throwing shit at the wall, see what sticks. It's funny because you'll hear agents who, and I don't care what anyone's beliefs are around coaching programs, anything like that. It's to think you're going to go try to figure it out for 10 years by yourself. Like, you know what? You go do that. You go do the hard work. And you know what? I really do wish you all the luck in the world. I hope you find it. But when you have people that you can just go give some money and save yourself 9 years of figuring out, because every year you don't know how to make at least $1 million, you're costing yourself $1 million for not having these types of relationships and that quality of information. Justin has already spent his life. I'm sure it's cost you a lot of relationships, a lot of late nights fucking at 2 a.m. You're like, great idea, run back to the laptop real quick, right? Like we've already done the things to figure it out. So just listen to smart people when they tell you what to do, and be smart enough to shut up and be humble. I'm not sure if you've listened to Niccolo Machiavelli's The Prince. He talks about put chains on yourself before life puts shackles on you.
Yeah,
And I think that's really good. So
yeah, I like
uh,
that.
this has
Yeah,
been really fan. This has been fantastic. What were you about to say?
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, I think the the people that I've seen it work the best for are people that get that when I get them into that renewed like faith, but then they just have this their own insatiable like appetite for progress and motivation. Like they have to become the engine,
Yes.
because if our business is supposed to bolt on to these other businesses and help them out, we still need them prodding us. They're not annoying us, they're reminding us, oh yeah, this person needs this help. So and I would say that about any FMO, like to give like to be fair, sometimes I'll have people come, my FMO's not doing anything, and I'm like, what have you asked them for, like and some of them are just incapable of it, or they give bad advice. So I'm not like out to defend all FMOs, but sometimes the agent isn't really given a fair shake because they're just sitting around and thinking, my FMO didn't make me any money. And it's not necessarily the job of the FMO to make you money. The job of the FMO is to help you in what you need help with, but they don't always know what you need help with. So
Yeah.
if you are working with anybody, like on anything, whether it's a coach or an FMO, or if you have a tool that you're paying for, also a lot of the things that have been the most rich in information have been some of the cheapest coaching programs in universities, because I've paid as much as 160 grand for a coaching program, and I've paid as much as I've paid $40 for shit. And probably some of those, I remember I bought like Dan Henry's $37 little lesson on, this is a long time ago, on what do you call it, pixels. And and this is like back in the early days of retard. Now it seems like to most Facebook marketers common sense, but like this was like early when people weren't using the pixel, like 2015, right? And I remember $37, and he sat there and taught me exactly how to use the pixel in the video, and how to create ads that like laddered the retargeting structure early on, when nobody was doing that stuff effectively. And
No.
so like it's just funny, like sometimes I'll meet people that won't buy coaching forever, and then randomly they'll make a lot of money, and then they'll buy the 100 grand thing. And then I think sometimes the 100 grand thing is probably already information that's out there in a book you could buy for $9.99 for the same guy that's selling it. As a matter of fact, I've said it before. I won't name the names because I don't want to discourage anyone from buying his programs, because he's a good guy. But I have bought and listened to a $20 audio book from a guy that I also paid 160 grand in for an annual coaching program. The only difference was hearing the information from his mouth in person and hanging out with him a little bit versus reading the book. The book was the same shit. Like it was the same stuff. So it's funny how people won't just go and get the information's already there. Like it's like that quote from is it Good Will Hunting, when he said, yes,
Yeah.
is in Good Will Hunting, he says something to the Harvard guy that's being a dick in the bar. He says something like, the only difference is years from now, you're gonna find out that you could have saved 200 grand on this education because I got it for free from the public library. And but the association is different too. It's very similar. So I go to Harvard, I get around Harvard people, and most of the money made in being a Harvard educated guy is more about the relationships I built at Harvard. They
Correct.
don't have shit to do with the shit. You can go take Harvard courses online for free now. They're online for free.
Everything's on YouTube, dude.
The whole thing. You could go. I remember when I was taking fundamentals of programming, an online course with AMU. I didn't like the course structure of the one that I was taking. I was using my Marine Corps tuition assistance, to get it free through there. And I went to MIT's courseware online for free and watched their fundamentals of programming lectures to help pass my course at another university. And their lecturist was really good, because the professors at some of those places are good. Like, I mean, albeit most of them are overly liberal. But on the technical topics, they're smart people. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're not smart. They're just confused sometimes. But anyway, like, information is like, there's just so much information out there. So when people are acting like they don't have enough information, and the real truth is there's all that information, and most of the people that do consume all the information, they want to consume too much information to actually make a decision. So like I'd probably act with 10% of the information. I'll start to listen to an audiobook and I'll get like a chapter in and be like, about to change this, and start moving stuff
Yep.
around. People read the whole book and then still be incompetent enough to change anything, right? So
I think
I
that's
don't
really
know.
good. That's when I started having success with all my courses and stuff. It's like, listen, guy, I know most of you are not going to finish this, and I don't want you to if it's just for finishing's sake. Get the one thing you need, go out and do something, okay? You gave me money, go out and do something so you don't think it was a bad decision because I want you to come back and give me more money. Let's be real. You want customers that give you money more than once. I want customers like let's be real here. And you mentioned the Pixel stuff. It's so funny. If you look at prior to after Tim Cook came in with the iOS update, none of the people who had buyers just handed to them like hotcakes on that Pixel have gone on to redo anything else after that. It was just like Facebook handed them the best audiences on planet Earth. And now if you look, you have to have CAPI set up, state server tracking, and all this crazy shit with ads just for correct attribution. And it's nuts. It's very different. I'll tell you where, dude, Truth Social and Rumble for advertising right now, because all the people who are listening to Trump and all those fantastic, fantastic lead source right now. If I'm not sure if you've,
I need to try Truth Social, man. I don't know why. I don't know why I haven't done Truth Social. I definitely need to do that. I want to be. I was early to Facebook. I need to go and be early to one of these other
yeah,
platforms.
dude, I'm getting really good leads from Truth Social and Rumble.com right now because that's where everyone goes for like, uh, what color is your fucking Bugatti, Justin? And Trump, of course. So that's funny. Yeah, go check those out. And if you have any questions, just shoot me a text.
We actually get a lot of organic leads from DuckDuckGo. So like
Interesting.
like organic consumer leads from SEO. So it's because it's all like IP mask, it's a lot of Trump support, conservative,
Yeah,
old
affluent people though.
yeah. So
Affluent people who want good things with their money. Justin, this has been really valuable for the agents and agency owners listening. You want to learn more about what you do. Tell us who's a good fit to work with you and how they can get in touch.
yeah, I'll be obviously on Instagram at the Justin Brock. That's where I love to communicate with people. Sorry for the background noise. They cranked the engine up.
No,
Um,
you're good. It's actually muted while you're talking.
but but what where we'd love to see people is we have our agent boot camps and behind the agency. Those are our workshops more for the more successful agents or agency owners behind the agency.com. But you can check all that out at justinbrock.com.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap up here. You guys go comment down below. Say thank you to Justin Brock for sharing his insights on what it's like just being a lucky person and not having to ever do any hard work, stay up late nights, and make sacrifices.
I highly recommend it. Just getting lucky all the time.
That's funny as hell, man. So for those of you interested in learning more about Justin Brock, I'm gonna have all of his links down below in the description. He has a book that he also just published was it last year?
Yes, March of 2024, we sold half the company to AmeriLife.
Fantastic. So yeah, I'm gonna have all of his stuff down below in the description. You guys go check him out, reach out to him, go throw some money and get his expertise. And I promise you won't regret it. He's a fantastic person, one of the few you can trust in this industry. And if you know me from the YouTube channel, you know I'm probably one of the few truth tellers in this industry as well. So what I'm saying about Justin can be not, you don't have to go wonder what the hidden motive is. There's no affiliate links. Just go throw money at him. He's a fantastic person. He really is. If you would like to be a guest on Policy and Profit, we're always looking for successful agents and agency owners doing at least 10K a month in commissions and have unique strategies and stories to tell. You can apply at the link down below in the description. And one more time, if you want to stop getting people on your team that never sell anything and want to recruit the right people the first time on autopilot and fill your agency with rock stars, go to writemorepolicies.com/playbook. Until next time, keep building that commission machine, my friend. Justin, that was fun as hell, man.
Thanks, man. Sorry about the background noise.
No, you're good. It looks beautiful out there.